For years, Suzuki have had the lone entrant in the compact sport utility market. Well, times are a-changing, as they say. Not only will Honda have the CR-V, but Toyota have released this vehicle. This is the recreational activity vehicle four-wheel drive, or in plain English, the RAV4. The traditional sport utility has either become too big or, as is probably closer to the truth, too expensive for many consumers. And so the RAV4 gives Toyota access to a completely new segment of the marketplace, i.e. the one below that of the 4Runner, meaning more affordable. Read the press kit and it says that the RAV4 is new from the ground up. However, look at the specifications and they suggest that the late Celica all-wheel drive has been reincarnated sans turbo. Is this a bad thing? Not at all if you believe in using proven technology. The engine size at 2 litres is the same as the Celica, although it lacks a few of the ponies. Power is rated at 120 horses at 5,400 RPM, while torque comes in at 4,600 and tips the scales at a respectable 125 pounds-feet. Given the relative light weight of the RAV, this level of power gives the vehicle a crisp feel. Ring the engine out to the red line in each of the 5 manual gears and you attain highway speed in short order. The drivetrain format and the all-wheel drive system likewise have their similarities to Celica. In manual form, the all-wheel drive system requires the driver to manually lock the center differential as and when the need arises. This is the only advantage the Slush-O-Matic enjoys over its manual sibling, and that is that the center differential is automatically locked when it needs to be. That aside, the automatic transmission gives the RAV4 a lethargic feel, particularly if you venture off-road. The fact that it lacks a 2-speed transfer case compounds the situation. So as I'm apt to say a lot, stick with the stick. The gearbox is user-friendly, the throws are short, the gate well-defined, and the clutch light and progressive. The instrument panel on the RAV4 is the model of simplicity. It's also the model of efficiency because everything, and I mean everything, right down to the rear window defroster, can be reached and accessed with ease. The other thing, even though the radio sits low down in the dash and below the climate controls, which is a usual sort of aggravation for me, it is high enough that you can see it relying upon peripheral vision. Usually compact cars mean compromised rear seat room. Well, that's not the case for the RAV4. With the chair set for me, there's an abundance of knee room, there's plenty of room underneath the seat, so you've got toe room, and as for headroom, well, there's acres. And given the external dimensions, the trunk is actually quite roomy, and when you factor in the 60-40 split folding rear seats, you have the required versatility. The suspension features McPherson struts, coil springs and a sway bar up front, while the rear utilizes a fully independent double wishbone design with trailing arms. The ride comfort is surprisingly good for a small vehicle. It is completely devoid of any truck-like feeling, and at speed there is little of the seesaw motion so common in these downsized sport utes. Stopping power comes from a disc drum setup that is offered with optional ABS. Toyota missed the boat on this one because this important safety feature should be standard on any vehicle in this price class. That aside, the stops are short, the pedal is easily modulated, and the ABS only comes into play when absolutely necessary. On the safety front, the RAV4 comes with all the usual stuff, including dual airbags, childproof rear door locks, and available ABS. Usually a combination of rear seat headrests and a spare tyre that's mounted on the tailgate equates to a disastrous view through the rear view mirror. Well, that's not the case on the RAV4, primarily because the headrests are small enough and the spare tyre barely sticks up above the window line. Well, that's it for yet another test drive. You know, the RAV4 is going to sell very well. Maybe not for what it is, but certainly because of who makes it. One thing is very sure and very clear. It's going to give the Suzuki one heck of a sidekick.
If you consider Motoring TV's been on the air for 30 plus years, there's no doubt you've missed a few episodes. Well, there's a couple of ways you can catch up and make sure you don't miss anything. First, you can go to YouTube and look up just segments or complete shows. Also, if you want to know what we're doing, like today on a daily basis, just go to our Facebook page. And also, you can go to motoringtvshop.com, get some cool swag. Oh, there's also that Instagram thing.